What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I've got one hell of a video for you guys today. Okay, as we know, the fallout from the Friday evening meeting at the White House with President Trump and President Zelensky didn't go over so well. So the leftist media in this country is attempting to blow this thing up way out of proportion, right? Oh, this is a disgrace. Oh, he's Putin's puppet and all this. I've been seeing nothing but that all day long. And these people are so freaking stupid. They don't understand what foreign policy is at all. Check this out, y'all. I got this from the Daily Kos. Look, only Trump's minions pretend Zelensky ambush was a success. They're calling it an ambush. An almost hour-long conversation that was amicable all the way up until the point where Zelensky started disrespecting Donald Trump. Everything went fine up until that point, and they're calling it an ambush. Is that so? Well, you know what? If you only see what leftist media shows you of that clip, the fiery bits where they started with J.D. Vance just going in on him, if you don't see what leads up to that, yeah, you might think that. But see, that's how the media manipulation game is played, y'all. They don't give you all the information. They don't give you all the facts. They don't give you all of everything. But we're going to blow this narrative right out of the water today. I've got a couple of clips, and as a matter of fact, the Daily Kos outright blatantly lies in this thing. And then what's so funny about it is they write this down in their article and then attach a clip to it. And what they say, the clip says, it's not the same thing. As a matter of fact, it's a blatant lie. But let's get into that right quick, and we'll scam through and get to the clips right fast. Check this out. President Donald Trump's decision to ambush Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office on Friday during negotiations over the Ukraine-Russia war has widely been decried as a low point for American diplomacy and a capitulation to Russia's dreams of further regional dominance. You love that, huh? But see, once again, we already, in the very first paragraph, we get a lie. They weren't negotiating the war between them. They were negotiating a mineral deal. Had nothing to do with the war, really. That was more of a side note, right? They were supposed to sign this mineral deal, and Donald Trump was going to give them weapons. Had nothing to do with the peace negotiations of the war, because those haven't even started yet. But you love how they're leading you down the path of destruction here. Let's keep going, though. Democrats led the condemnation of Trump, with the party's official social media account describing the Trump policy as Putin first. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker noted, President Trump's simpering fealty to Vladimir Putin and Russia is embarrassing and dangerous. Right. So when our president doesn't allow himself to get stepped all over, yeah, that's dangerous, y'all. But unlike nearly everyone else in the world, save Russian dictator Vladimir Putin and a few other international autocrats, Trump's inner circle thought he did an amazing job and spent the following 3 days trying to spin the mess. No, didn't think that was amazing. It was a total disaster, as a matter of fact. But you know what? You don't get to come into our house, disrespect the president of the United States, and think you're just going to walk away. No. I'm sorry, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. What we witnessed in the Oval Office today was an American president putting America first, Speaker Mike Johnson wrote on X. Johnson also touted the meltdown as evidence that the days of America being taken advantage of and disrespected are over. That is right. Senator Lindsey Graham, which this was surprising, told reporters, "I've never been more proud of the president." He also said that Zelensky should resign. That is right. The warmongering Lindsey Graham actually stood on the side of peace, because that's where Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is trying to negotiate peace. You cannot lambast, yell, scream, call the guy a dictator, start shipping weapons to somebody, just be very, very hyper-partisan, and then expect to go to the negotiating table and get anything done. Vladimir Putin's going to look at that like, you're not coming into this with good faith. This is a bad faith effort. He's shipping them weapons and doing all this other nonsense over here, calling me a dictator. Like, how do you really think that's going to go? These people don't use common sense with their logic, whatever the hell, if you even want to call it logic, because it's divorced from logic, as a matter of fact. You cannot, I'm sorry, I am sorry. Look, put it this way. You've got a friend, right? Yeah, on social media. And you guys are going back and forth. You keep calling him all kind of names, every name in the book. Do you expect him to be amicable with you if you go to his house asking him, hey, can I borrow your lawnmower? Do you really think he's going to even entertain that? He probably wouldn't even answer the freaking door. Or if he did, he'd say, hey, how about you get off my freaking property at this point, right? These people don't think about what they're saying at all. And it's absurd. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the shouting session with Trump calling for Ukrainian capitulation was proof Trump is going to be a president that tries to achieve peace. That is right. Once again, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard appeared for a friendly discussion of the issue with the administration's allies at Fox News and claimed falsely, watch this, that Zelensky was attempting to escalate hostility in the region. Now, I happen to have that clip, and this is the one I was talking about. Check this out, y'all.
What happened in the White House after close to an hour of conversation when President Zelensky directly challenged President Trump and Vice President Vance in front of the media and the American people. He really showed his lack of interest in any real good faith negotiations. I can tell you there were a lot of conversations that were happening through different emissaries, both for Zelensky and for President Trump, leading up to his visit there to the Oval Office. And President Zelensky's immediate escalation there was frankly quite a surprise. This has created a huge rift in the relationship. President Zelensky, as you pointed out in the clips that you played, doesn't believe that he did anything wrong, that there was no issue with what he brought up in the Oval Office with President Trump. There's going to have to be a rebuilding of any kind of interest in good faith negotiations, I think, before President Trump.
Okay, now if you noticed, I left the little bits on the end right there just to make sure you guys know, for transparency purposes, that I didn't cut that off and that she didn't continue speaking. That was the end of that clip. Now, she didn't mention anything about Zelensky wanting to escalate tensions in the region, talking about in Ukraine, because that's what that line said. Falsely, Fox News and claim, she went on Fox News and claimed falsely that Zelensky was attempting to escalate hostility in the region. What she said in that video was that Zelensky was escalating the talks that they were having. He was getting combative. He was being disrespectful. He was trying to litigate the history of that area in front of the American media, for crying out loud, like J.D. Vance said. He was trying to basically say, well, Putin's not going to negotiate. He's not going to remain true to his word, if you will. He's going to violate the terms of a ceasefire, right? Basically saying that he doesn't want peace. That's what that tells anybody. If you want to telegraph something to somebody, that's how you do it. You don't come up there and it's just funny. It's freaking hilarious what these people are trying to spin, right? Read between the lines here, my guy, because whoever wrote this article is a freaking nut job. They're psychotic. As a matter of fact, they want to spin this in a certain direction like it was a debacle. Hang on just a second there, buddy. Like, you don't come in. That's basically what he was pissed off about, is because we weren't given security guarantees. We were getting a mineral rights deal in exchange for shipping some more weapons, which I've got a problem with doing that. I don't think we should be supplying anything at all. Trump wants to go and negotiate peace. Please do. Do that. Go right ahead. We need to stop the war. We need to stop the dying and all that good stuff. I don't like giving just Ukraine weapons, just blanket. Go in, tell Putin to shut up, sit down, get out of there. Work something out. I don't care how. But we shouldn't be shipping weapons to Ukraine. That's utterly and total nonsense, ridiculousness, if you ask me. But hey, that's just my take on it. I understand Donald Trump. He's a deal maker. He's a negotiator. He's the president. He has foreign policy to worry about. I don't. I'm just a glass guy that installs glass in commercial storefront. That's what I do. I don't have to worry about trying to mitigate, interests in the region or whatever all over the freaking world. That's not my call. But, it is what it is. Let's keep going. President Zelensky's immediate escalation there was frankly quite a surprise. This has created a huge rift in the relationship, she told Fox News Sunday. Yeah, we already read that. And it's funny that he puts this in there knowing these people are insane, just outright psychotic. An article for FoxNews.com attempted to deflect from the missteps that the relationship between former President Joe Biden and Zelensky was equally as contentious as the Trump debacle. The article tried to cite a 2022 report of a phone call between the two world leaders as evidence, but a private call is nothing like an open press event conducted in real time before the entire planet, like the Trump event. You love how they call that a debacle. And once again, this is just cope right here, trying to cope, because I'm about to show you guys that very clip, and we're going to see, and then we're going to break it down. Let's check this out right fast, y'all.
ABC News has new exclusive reporting about a phone call that happened between President Biden and the Ukrainian president back in June. What do we know about that conversation, Courtney?
Yeah, that's right, Kate. So in this conversation, President Biden called President Zelensky to tell him about a roughly $1 billion package of additional equipment and weapons for the Ukrainian military coming from the United States. During the course of the call, President Zelensky continued, according to a number of officials who we spoke with who are familiar with the call, President Zelensky continued to talk about the additional equipment and weapons and support that he and his military needed. According to these officials, they said that President Biden finally just got frustrated and lost his temper and told President Zelensky, look, you could be a little bit more grateful. The reason that this story is interesting to us and is something that we are reporting on and officials are speaking to us about is because it shows that all these months ago, President Biden already realized that there was going to be a point where the American people, members of Congress, where people would start potentially pushing back on all these billions and billions of dollars of aid and equipment that the U.S. has been providing to Ukraine. And he knew that the narrative out there needed to be that the Ukrainian people and President Zelensky were grateful for it if the support was going to continue at that same level, Kate.
Now, the reason I showed that clip and I made sure and put that up there because it's not about what happened. It wasn't about that Zelensky was on the phone with Biden and none of that stuff. What that shows is a pattern of behavior from Zelensky of ungratefulness, of just despicable disrespect toward the United States. That was hard to say, I screwed that all up. But that's what it shows, a pattern of behavior that he doesn't care. He doesn't feel grateful to the American people for sending hundreds of billions of dollars in military equipment and just money just to sustain his government. They do not care. Like, at this point, when I saw that clip, it pissed me off. I'm even more angered about Ukraine right now. I could care less. Screw it. We can allow Putin to just roll over Kyiv at this point. I don't care, because if you are going to bite the hand that feeds you, which is what Zelensky is essentially doing. Oh, you got to give me some security guarantees over here. I don't care. He's just being disrespectful, ungrateful, doesn't seem to care. Just give me the weapons and I'm going to go home. That's all he cares about. Give me the money. Give me the billions of dollars. Well, I'm sorry. We're not playing that game anymore around here. Like, this is nonsense when it comes to these people. And the leftist media in this country is on the side of Ukraine, not on the side of America. And I just wonder what would have happened if this would have been Joe Biden that done this. Right? Because obviously Joe Biden got pissed off at the guy as well. That's probably one of the reasons that Zelensky came to the United States in front of Congress to thank everybody. It was because he needed to show that he was grateful for this stuff, which, I'm sorry, at this point, now that all the cards, that this video has came out, I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, the media didn't cover that hardly at all. It was a one short little clip of that, and that's it. They didn't blow this thing up saying this is the worst diplomatic debacle in United States history. None of that. They didn't say anything. They're just, oh, well, we need to make sure the blah, 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 trying to take up for Joe Biden. You see the double standard, the blatant hypocrisy coming from leftist media on this. And like I said, man, these people are psychotic at this point, thinking that we actually want to help Zelensky. No, I'm sorry. You can get out of here with that. I could care less. Let the tanks roll over in Kyiv. I do not care at this point anymore. Not when I'm not going to assist somebody that is not grateful for the assistance. Sorry, I just don't care. Meanwhile, Trump National Security Advisor Mike Wallace told CNN that Zelensky was disrespectful because he rejected Trump's attempt to blame Ukraine for Russian aggression. That is a total lie. Trump financier Elon Musk chimed in to complain that Zelensky has chosen, or what do you mean was chosen, to suffer severe loss of life? I think he meant to put has chosen to suffer severe loss of life for no gains, completely ignoring the fact that it was Russia who was the primary actor in invading Ukraine. Sure, but that doesn't, he's trying to sidestep the point here. He chose to get aggressive. He chose to be disrespectful. Therefore, he's choosing not to get our assistance at that point. That's what he chose. You don't come into somebody else's house on their territory and disrespect them. Sorry, that's just not how negotiations work. That's not how friendly allies are supposed to treat each other. Blaming Ukraine, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told Fox the country has continually denied the pragmatic reality of where their country stands today. As the Trump administration was pivoting away from the Biden administration's support for Ukraine democracy and independence, the rest of the world rejected the American position. Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with Zelensky and made clear that the United Kingdom would continue to support Ukraine. Other regional leaders like French President Emmanuel Macron and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen reaffirmed their alliance with Ukraine in opposition to Russian aggression. But they also once again failed to mention that, Keir Starmer also said that we need to have the United States be on board with this. Now, they dip into some really psychotic stuff here. Check this out. Russia, on the other hand, had praise for America's act of betrayal, right? Okay, so we had a bit of a spat back and forth, right? All Zelensky has to do is apologize. That's it. Okay, we're right back on board. But they're calling it a betrayal. Is that so? Once again, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the new administration is rapidly changing all foreign policy configurations. This largely aligns with our vision. Yeah, if you want to get to a peace deal. However, I did go and search for this comment right here, could not find any evidence of its existence. So, considering how many times this news outlet has lied in this article, I'm just going to tell you guys, take it with a grain of salt, because it's probably not true. Democrats and most international leaders are standing alongside Ukrainian freedom and independence, but Trump, his inner circle, and Putin want that to end. Yeah, they want to end to the war. He is totally correct about that, right? I'm sorry, you just don't get to spew psychotic nonsense and think nobody's going to debunk it. Nobody's going to rebut what you are saying here because it makes absolutely no sense. These people don't use their freaking brains. These are the same people that will get out there and fly a Ukrainian flag before they'll fly an American flag. They hate America. These people want to see the United States fall. You know, let's go in the opposite direction with that. Oh yeah, they want Ukraine to rule over everything. We could say some psychotic nonsense, but it doesn't make any sense. You cannot go into negotiating, right? And Zelensky obviously doesn't understand peace negotiations because you cannot rail and lambast against somebody, supply the other guy with weapons, and, think that, everybody's going to be fine when you get to the negotiating table, right? Once again, you got all these other European leaders saying that they're standing with Ukraine and they're standing strong in opposition to Russia. How come none of these people have tried to negotiate peace? That's a question I have for all of them. How come we are still at war. How come you had one time they had some peace negotiations, and what did Boris Johnson do? Oh, we're going to fight Russia to the bloody end. These people want World War III for some reason. They want regime change in Russia. It's always Russia, Russia, Russia. Well, that's Russian propaganda. You're a Putin puppet. It's this, it's that. Anytime you oppose anything that they say, this is how you know it's freaking nonsense. Almost slipped up. This is how you know everything that they're saying is nonsense. Because they don't have a rebut. All they do is say, oh, you're a Putin puppet. Well, that's Russian propaganda. Like those videos of Ukrainian military going around rounding up folks off the streets. What is the rebut from that? Oh, well, that's Russian propaganda. No, I'm sorry. That's video evidence there. I'm sorry. That is evidence. That's anything but propaganda. You think they're not doing that? And that's what J.D. Vance was talking about. Ukraine has problems. Do you think we can stand next to a nation that does things like that? I'm sorry. I do not care about Ukraine at this point. You know, sure, I was kind of aggravated. Putin's an evil guy for invading. Once again, I could bring up everything that is going on and still say that's not a justification to invade Ukraine. Regardless of the genocide that was going on, the ethnic cleansing, whatever the hell you want to call it, of ethnic Russians that was going on, doesn't justify it. But once again, he's using that as an excuse to invade. He's also using the land bridge. He wants that territory. That's what this is all about, y'all. It's territory. And Zelensky does not want to give it up. He wants to come out on top. He wants to defeat Russia. Ukraine is not going to be able to do that. And we're not going to defeat Russia without going to full-scale war, which will inevitably lead to nuclear war, right? Donald Trump's taking this into consideration. A lot of people are taking this into consideration. And the reckless abandon of NATO, of France, of UK, of all these other countries that stand alongside Ukraine don't seem to give a damn. They just want a virtue signal to their people. We're standing alongside Ukraine while doing absolutely nothing to try to stop that war, knowing there's a manpower shortage in Ukraine, knowing they've banned pretty much the Christian Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church, banned churches, consolidated media into state-run media, are kidnapping people off the streets. It's absurd. It's just outright absurd. They're standing next to such the most corrupt nation in Europe. It is insane what these people are standing up for, what they are signaling to the rest of the world. And they want us to feel like we're just minions of Trump and we're the only people that think like this, that think you cannot just run your mouth about somebody and then expect peace negotiations to work out just fine. Once again, like I said, it's analogous to when you see two people fighting, what do? This is what NATO and France and UK and Germany, this is what they want to do. They want to run in and give Zelensky, you got Zelensky and Putin fist fighting over here. What NATO and France, what they want to do is run over and give Zelensky a baseball bat. That's what they want to do. You got a fist fight going on. Let's give Zelensky a baseball bat. What sane person does that? No, there's no sane person that does that. What Trump wants to do is run over there and break up the fight. And Zelensky disrespects Trump because Trump didn't give him a baseball bat. That's what this is analogous to, essentially, what is going on here. And leftist media is railing against Trump, calling him a disgrace, just lambasting him, whatever, just excoriating the crap out of him at this point for trying to break up the fight, stop the fighting. instead of giving Zelensky a baseball bat or a knife or whatever the hell you want to throw in there. You can replace it with anything. It doesn't matter at this point, because that's what they want. Help. And what's the excuse? Putin's the aggressor here. Putin's the aggressor. Yeah, sure, Putin started the fight. That doesn't mean that we run over and give Zelensky a baseball bat to beat the ever-living snot out of Putin. That's not the responsible adult thing to do, is it? That's childish. It's high school level thinking at this point. And these psychos, they just want to continue this. Because they want to fund the military-industrial complex. That's all they want. That's all this is about. That's the only reason you could take that position on this. It's insane. And I think I've railed for long enough on this one, y'all. Man, this gets my blood going, because these people are psychos. And they are in charge of disseminating information in this country. And it's disgusting. These people, was it Oliver Willis over at Daily Kos? You, my guy, should be ashamed of yourself. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post this video on X, and I'm going to tag him, so hopefully he watches this thing. Hopefully he watches this. I might even go to open an account on Blue Sky if he's not on X, and tag him on this. My guy, you are a psycho. You are psychotic. Get your partisan head out of your partisan ass. That's what you need to do. But I think that's all I got on this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section, so I'm sure you got your opinions. But that's all I got, and I'm done, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.